I watch the news on her set, high on the wall on the second floor flat as I wait for the bus on the opposite side. She folds laundry as the TV talks, wars, polls. They're calling it something else now. Holds the shirt to her face, breathes, stretching class of 2010, and a cotton wall of signatures, a line of tape across her mouth. Folds, stacks, with every load of darks for a year now. That was kind of an old poem. Just briefly, I want to mention, there's a great Buffalo writer, Brian Kastner. He's written 2 books of nonfiction, The Long Walk and All the Ways We Kill and Die. I pulled this poem out from an old magazine because of him. Today he had a story in the New York Times on our never-ending wars, so it's worth checking out. Just Google Brian Kastner, New York Times, and you can read his very intelligent op-ed. All right, I have one more for you. This one actually just won the Just Buffalo Members Competition, so if it sucks, you can blame the judge, Janet McNally. This is at the funeral of an atheist I didn't know. I didn't know June, but her grandchildren say we would have felt the same way about the service. Taken issue with the tone of the homily. Laughed when her nephew said a class disease. Being that we were, or are, both, atheist, or I guess like intellectuals. Anyway, thanks so much for coming. She asks for a burial in Forest Lawn, near Millard Fillmore, with an angel on her obelisk. And I attend because I have to, I think. I'm also attending the dinner. And considering a down payment on a plot, my own. But not so near the sewage, cost permitting. Most of us miss the doxologies. Even her children can't manage an appropriate amen because she never taught them. But belief persists in shapes and senses. The feeling that an ugly, grinning gargoyle gives, or the wheel, cross, and psalter tilted. The structures that believers built, like poems of slanted end rhymes, might have sunk, and feet, falling, faltered. But generations of agnostics have preserved the shapes in outrage, love, collected in anthologies like breviaries, or national registries, lists of placarded places where people and events occurred. Believers pay the token fees to keep them standing for the rest of us, to pass and think of visiting. Or in the Potsdam Picture Gallery, where Caravaggio's Thomas only doubts what very few of us believe. We see the light and shape and feel our fingers in the wound. And if the fingers weren't any wound and not the open side of Christ, still it would be an extraordinary painting. But maybe more importantly, belief persists in flying buttresses, like arms around the shoulders of tiny towns in European postcards. And in all the empty, pleasant-sounding words from invisible belfries calling out to invisible dominions and to thrones. Dusty words for dusty volumes, only priests and unbelievers read. We don't believe, but see belief, in shiny spots on copper statues rubbed for luck, and in the faces of the strangers who've mistaken us for ones they thought they knew. Not only children fear the dark. Not only poets sin and sing about it. We all feel holier in the presence of the halos misty street lamps make at night. Not only Catholics ask for incense, not only Masons carry compasses and squares, we pile rocks for cairns and altars, and in the dark we make the motions, sparking steel to flint and muttering words into kindling. Not a prayer, but closer to Hineni, just a breath that might become a little light. Belief persists in the little laminated card for St. Oran of Iona. I'll leave it in my jacket pocket after this, forgetting it until the next obituary calls the faithful to reach far back to the last hanger in the closet for a funeral suit within her pockets, collecting other prayer cards just like this, from believers and from atheists, until I'm buried in it. Maybe here, near Millard Fillmore, but not quite so near the sewage. Not for me, but on the chance that it might matter to someone who believes.